I want to lay out the 5 major problems that I see with the way the lines are drawn today, and then offer criteria-based solutions for them. First, and I guess this is not in any exact order, we have a lack of respect for communities of interest here in this state. And I want to show a slide of just one of 100 examples that are out there in this state to make this point. Lack of community of interest being respected. Here you see the town of Frankton in Madison County. The magenta and the blue are 2 separate legislative districts. In a town of 2,000 people, somehow it was seen fit to cut right through the middle of the town. That is a complete lack of respect for communities of interest, culture, the economy, and literally, depending on what side of the street or what neighborhood you're in this little town, depends on what legislator you get. Second problem, lack of compactness. And this is best illustrated in 2 congressional districts, but there are many other examples again. The first one is Congressional District 8, which is southwest and almost northwest Indiana. It goes from Warren County all the way down to Evansville. Now, someone told me recently that Warren County is actually closer to Wisconsin than it is to Evansville. Now, I was scared to verify that, but I think the point is taken. Then in Congressional District 4, the northern end of it is a town, my second home really, called Monticello, and it goes all the way down south to Bedford, Indiana. Now I ask you, what in the world do the people of Monticello have in common with the people of Bedford, except of course being excellent Hoosiers? Very little. Lack of compactness, that's the second problem. The third problem is lack of competition, otherwise known to most of us as gerrymandering. 40% of the races since we've had the current lines, since 2002, 40% of the legislative races have gone without a major party opponent. That's called a safe district. It's not unreasonable or unheard of that the legislators might, given the opportunity, want to draw districts like that. And that's what can happen in the Wild West when you don't have criteria. 40% of the races over the last 8 years had a meaningful choice. Fourth problem, voter confusion, lack of accessibility. To demonstrate this point, I want to show you Hamilton County as it exists today. Hamilton County is represented by 9 House members and 5 senators. That's 10% of the legislature for one of Indiana's 92 counties. Furthermore, there is really no rhyme or reason, no political boundaries, no township, certainly not at the county lines being followed here. It's very difficult for a voter in a county, and this is just one example again, to understand who their legislator even is. And if you don't know who you can complain to, except for to come to the Rotary Club, depending on who the speaker is, then you get divorced from the process. And this is unnecessary, as I'll point out later. The fifth, and this is not talked about very much, the fifth problem as I see it as Indiana's chief election officer is how unnecessarily it complicates election administration. There are 5,500 precincts in this state. There are over 30,000 poll workers needed to put on our elections. When you have districts like this that cut through townships, cut through precincts, you're printing an enormous number of different ballot styles. And I will bet you that almost everyone in the room, at least during one time through your voting life, probably got the wrong ballot and you didn't even know it, because you didn't know who was representing you well enough until you were given a ballot from another part of the precinct, another part of the township, an honest mistake, but you were disenfranchised. If we can make this simpler, and believe it or not, those 30,000 poll workers, those election administrators around the state, they're all human. By biblical definition, they're going to make mistakes. We have got to do things to help not let that happen unnecessarily.